Hey everyone, you're watching Avweb's continuing coverage of NBA-BACE in Las Vegas, Nevada, where Garmin has introduced a bunch of new products, one of which is the TXi, which is going to be an aftermarket display system. Displaces the old G500 and G600. I'm with Jessica Koss. She's going to give us a quick overview of what this system's all about. So we've got the display behind me. Tell us about the basic overall capabilities here.
Overall capabilities include, like you said, the replacement for the G500 and G600. This is the G600 TXi touchscreen display, which is fully touchscreen, but it also retains some dual concentric knobs, and it still has a bezel along the bottom too, so you can still stabilize your hand depending on whether or not you want to use the touchscreen or the knobs themselves.
And how about the basic display technology? This is an upgrade from what the 500 and the 600 have, correct?
That's correct, yep. So we have two display sizes available, a 10-inch display, which you see here, and then a 7-inch display. So there's a lot of cockpit configuration options available.
And looking at the other display, and we'll show you some clips of that, you can orient it horizontally or vertically, and in the smaller displays, which are 7-inch, you can put them side by side, so you could have a PFD on one side and EIS or MFD on the other side. Is that right?
That's right. So with the 7-inch displays over there, which we'll see in a moment, if you pair two 7-inch displays with a backup battery, you can actually forego the requirement for your standby flight instruments. So you can essentially have an all-glass cockpit.
What kind of price range are we talking about if you're going into that level of conversion? And I assume you're going to have a broad AML, which you always have had. So if I've got, say, a Bonanza and I want to rip out all the steam gauges and put something like this in, what ranges are we talking about just for the hardware?
Sure. For the displays themselves, they start at $15,995, and from there, we have 600 aircraft on our AML. So I mean, with a Bonanza, you could do 7-inch display combination. You could do a single 10-inch display. So there's a lot of options out there.
Now, do those AMLs exist now, or are they planned?
They are planned. So we'll have over 600 aircraft on our AML initially, going forward. Yeah.
And when will those approvals be available?
Those approvals will be available in November, and we hope to deliver before the end of the year.
Okay, so this is the 10-inch display here. Let's zoom in on it a little bit and get some of the details on what the display will do.
So as far as the 10.6-inch G600 TXi display goes, you can see things like altitude select are touchscreen, so we can input our altitude via the touchscreen, or when we touch it like that, we can still retain a lot of functionality with the dual concentric knobs. So you get the option of both touchscreen and using the knobology, if that's what you're used to. In addition to altitude pre-select, things like course heading, things like that are all available via the touchscreen and the knob. One of my favorite features is the HSI map, and of course the single finger zoom. You can still use both fingers if you'd like, but you can see the single finger zoom really allows you to zoom in and zoom out very, very quickly. On the 10-inch display, we can also go into split screen mode, which moves your PFD over to the left and then gives you a full touchscreen moving map, as well as the traffic page, terrain, weather. And you can see that the menu structure closely resembles that of the GTN touchscreen series, as well as Garmin Pilot, even G3X Touch, so customers will be very familiar with the user interface. Also new for Garmin, we're introducing our EIS TXi display, which is compatible for, again, a really broad AML available on the market. It's a 7-inch landscape display only, and in this type of setup, if we were to lose our EIS display, we could also redundantly display EIS on the 10-inch TXi displays. In this type of cockpit configuration and the dual 7-inch portrait displays, they're fully redundant, and it also forgoes the requirement, if you include a backup battery with the dual 7-inch displays, it forgoes the requirement for the standby steam gauge instrumentation. So pilots can completely have a glass cockpit such as this with the dual 7-inch portrait displays and dual GTNs in this case. In this cockpit configuration, we have a dedicated 10.6-inch display, as well as a portrait EIS TXi display. and the 7-inch Portrait TXi display. Along with weather and autopilot interfaces, we also have a variety of ADS-B interfaces, so pilots can display traffic and weather from an ADS-B source, such as the GTX 345 or even the GDL 88.
So that gives you a pretty good idea of what these displays are capable of. They'll be available pretty soon, by the end of the year. You can find out more technical details on Garmin.com. Thanks for watching.